Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you go over the top rope and you bang your head on the ring apron. Why do you do that? That's when you feel like a big dope. They're the worst bumps you can be taking. Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you reach out for the hot tag. And something. That's when you should quit wrestling. And you're better off rolling a thumbtacks. AEW, the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. One more. Sometimes you're distracting the referee. And the babyface he has your wrestler pinned. Then you get punched to the ring apron. And you realize all the trouble you're in when it's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. No double craps. Here we go, Bob Squad. We're talking about Monday Night Raw. It was on TV this week. I don't think a lot of people know that, but it was. It aired on a major television network. It's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba-da, ba-da. Whoa. Hey, what is going on, Bob Squad? House tricks. Oh, pardon me. Oh, my God. I'm sounding like shit's second cousin, huh? It's a humdinger of a week, Bob Squad, and it's not gonna get better. Let's do the business first. Oh man, this is my surgery week that is happening about 30 something hours after the recording of this. So I'm a bit on edge. I'm a bit anxious. I'm a bit distracted. All the toy stuff I want to do, all of the podcast stuff I want to do. You'll notice maybe no Beach Town this week, unless we record one tomorrow. We could, but I'm not really reaching for it. That's just another thing to edit, nothing to worry about. And I don't know, guys. I don't like this. I don't want to be carved open by a robot or by anybody for that matter. I don't like it. I'm afraid of the recovery. It's going to be a giant abortion of a day. And I'm a little bit on edge. A little bit on edge. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Psych to the max. You know something, Jake the Snake Roberts? Maybe I am insane. Yeah. Maybe I am insane. Yeah. So that's the deal there. We're talking about the Hulu edition. The Hulu edition. Hulu, you don't. Of WWE Monday Night Raw for November 1st. I watched this over 24 hours ago on Hulu, and my notes are getting smaller all the time. So this is going to be interesting, but we're going to get through it. Pardon the sniffling. I don't know why. That only happens when I start recording, by the way. Mm, that was good water. Okay, let's talk about some positives here. We open up Raw. Hulk Hogan slams Andre the Giant. And then they swing a big dangling package in our face. A big, throbbing, blue veined package just smacking us in the nose, bouncing off of our chin. Becky Lynch and Bianca from last week, and they're going to start off with a championship match. An important match to start Raw with two of their more important players right now. Hey, what a good idea. No, they never do this. Is Vince sick? How'd this happen? Why didn't we open with talking? Don't worry, there's plenty of talking. There's going to be talking. The combined amount of talking that I do, I don't know why I'm saying it like that. The combined amount of talking that I do on this podcast once a week still does not anywhere equal close to the amount of talking they do in their wrestling program. The package showed why right now, even though I've been the biggest Charlotte apologist up until like 2 months ago for all these years, um, they showed the difference between Becky and Charlotte. Okay? Charlotte, we know in her eventual match with Alexa, she beat the crap out of Alexa and killed Alexa's gimmick, killed the doll, whatever the hell, and she sold nothing. More importantly, she sold nothing in the promos leading up to it. So she wouldn't even let it be suggested that Alexa can get into her head so that anybody might think Alexa would win the match. They showed this package. I don't know why I'm not going to harp on this for too long, I promise. Becky The previous week, in that promo, with her facial expressions, not only had Bianca eventually get the best of her in a brawl, they had Becky get the beginning of it with some kind of cheap shot, I forget, and then Bianca would fight back and Becky powdered out, which Charlotte wouldn't do for Alexi, even though Charlotte was the heel. I don't think Charlotte ever did it for Rhea, and she was the heel. And they were both heels at one point. I don't know. That was a whole mess altogether. They showed that Becky is willing to let Bianca look like a threat to her championship. Becky showed this with her face, with her tone, her shaking of her head no, her she's she's showing nervousness, she's showing fear because there is a threat to the championship. Charlotte does the same, look away, does the hand motion like blah blah blah, you keep talking kind of hand motion. But she overdoes that for every single person and never lets anything get to him, and eventually she's going to beat him. So what the hell was the point of that? I'm just going to make the compare. I'm sure I'll make the comparison right now. I don't care. Rick knew what to do, even if Rick was winning and Rick barely won. He's throwing his clothes off. He's screaming. He's throwing a fit. He's getting upset. The horsemen are there to calm him down. The whole deal. So we have the match, and again we show what Becky couldn't do for Charlotte. Couldn't do for Bianca. We show what Becky did doing for Bianca, what Charlotte couldn't do for Bianca. Um, Becky, I'm gonna we'll do the two tiny negative nitpicks. One of them is not so tiny, but the tiny negative nitpick is they both traded slaps and missed by a mile. I'll forgive it because the match was really good. Uh, Becky wasn't taking the heat until she would let the ring be her weapon against Bianca. The whole experience thing, the announcers had to point out Bianca's not really a rookie anymore. She's just new-ish, and Becky was able to. A heel always has two weapons. Always has two weapons: the ring and the referee. And no one uses them anymore because there's no more pro wrestling on TV. It's Outlaw Mud Show or it's sports entertainment. But a heel has two weapons, and they're legal weapons in a weird way. The referee's not really a legal weapon, but the ring is. And it's an easy out because how many Braun Strowman matches with him as a babyface that no one cheered, but nevertheless a babyface on paper? Every single time it was his shine was over, he would take that stupid. He would take well, he did it well, but he would take that shoulder in the ring post. He would miss the charge in a turnbuckle, take the shoulder in the ring post every time. So this way, when we're wondering why the Miz or John Morrison or whoever would have an advantage over Braun Strowman if we're even admit it. Because if you're flipping channels and you don't watch wrestling, you go, what the hell is this? Why would this other guy have a chance? We need an excuse, a somewhat logical temporary excuse. And Becky did this awesomely. I don't remember too much about the match. It showed off Bianca's power once again. Becky also sold with her face the entire time. I'm scared. She would say one thing and her face would show another. Charlotte never did any of that. Charlotte stopped being one of the best damn pro wrestlers on TV. Because for a long time she was. I shouldn't make this about Charlotte. They already do enough of that. Sorry. Uh, my other nitpick was this is worse than a slaps. Because listen, strikes can miss here and there, and it's you don't like it, but it happens. Um, Becky had a thing where she took the turnbuckle off, let the referee see it, and she wiggles out of one of Bianca's moves, shoves Bianca head first or face first or whatever into the metal turnbuckle strut there, and then rolls up Bianca from behind and pins the hooks with the tights, and there you go. Nothing wrong with the roll up after the buckle hit, hook into tights. Which doesn't really do anything. You don't even really need it because the buckle hit is enough. But referee stared right at it. What was that? And I know there's some idiot writer who's like, well, it's wrestling. Okay, okay. Actually, you know what? The writers don't write the finishes, so never mind. There's some producer who's probably an ex-wrestler who should know better, but whatever. But they probably just went, well, it's wrestling. Well, okay, well, that's That's why there's more promotions than ever, more places to work than ever, and less people are watching than ever. So congratulations. If it's just wrestling, well, they put a little more thought into it. That it's how about it's just your job? So figure out your job. Okay, Bob, you done? You happy? Seth Rollins does a lot of talking, and then Big E comes out for some more talking. Kevin Owens comes out for talking, and then this goes on for a very long time. And they make a match that Big E will wrestle Kevin Owens in a non-title match. I'm sure they called it something else that's goofy. Later on, much later on in the evening, probably felt like 9 hours for the people who were there live. I do not know what city they're in. Who cares? Zelina Vega and Carmella are backstage, and they run into Rhea Ripley and Nikki a.s.h, who are backstage, and they argue and they make a match. Okay, so now that a handful of SmackDown wrestlers are on Raw, I am seeing a lot of SmackDown things for the first time. And one of the things I'm seeing for the first time is Carmella's mask. The goofy logic is, well, she's a hot lady. She doesn't want her face to get damaged in a match, so she wears a funny mask. There's a couple of things wrong with this. First of all, don't cover up a hot lady's face ever, ever on TV. And yes, I know Trish Stratus had a broken nose once. Well, she had a broken nose. Don't cover up a hot lady's face. What the fuck are you doing? They did it with Mandy once on the new NXT, and everyone hates that show. Hey, but the idea is this thin, glittery, like inner lining with a stormtrooper mask somehow from Carmella protects her face. So I'd never seen this before. It was the goofiest fucking thing. Um, the only saving grace for this goofy backstage, all of the women have to act like 13-year-old cliquish girls for some reason. The only saving grace was they had an asterisk at the bottom of the screen that said earlier today. I like that because it's getting away from what we saw in a previous segment with the long talking with the three guys. It's getting away from the idea that this is a live 3 hour program and they didn't plan any matches. They just hoping people would have arguments on the fly. So the fact that they say this happened earlier today and now we made the match, like, okay, more of that. More of that. Give me a reason. Let me pretend that this was a planned sporting event. That's over, Bob. Your time is over. A robot's gonna cut you up. You're not gonna wake up. They're gonna fuck up the anesthesia because no one does their job. But Bob, enough, enough, enough. So they have the match, and Carmella's. By the way, the mask gimmick too. It takes her back to at least her back to diva era comedy where she has to work this unfunny, funny gimmick the whole match. So that's the match you have to work with Carmella now. So what's the point of Carmella even training to become a better wrestler? She's actually not that bad. I think the internet sees her as like a diva era wrestler, but I mean she's not unathletic. I actually thought the good thing about her matches, believe it or not, because I know someone's going to hear this and go, Carmella matches? When the hell was there a good Carmella match? There were plenty of entertaining Carmella matches, and she was very good at not doing stupid shit she really couldn't be doing. What she did do, she did well. She suffers a little bit from kind of weak strikes and stomps in the corner or something like that. She kind of pulls them a bit. She's not really she's not really looking to get that black eye and bloody nose, and um, it helps sometimes because Becky's double tough. Remember the broken nose with Nia and the bloody picture that everyone loved. And gotta say, it's Charlotte too. Charlotte does not mind a busted lip or something. She kind of tends. She looks like she digs it. So good for her. And I'm sure Shayna Baszler wouldn't complain. So that's all I'm gonna say. Actually, most of them really wouldn't. I'm sure Rhea's pretty tough. Tony Storm, Shotzi, they're all pretty fucking tough. Asuka, Io. Oh well. I'm just saying. It's silly that someone who's supposed to be in professional combat is wearing a mask. It's just it's a make you laugh. It's making you the it's a make you laugh at the character gimmick instead of a make you get behind the character or feel strongly about the character gimmick. Anyway, the heels won. So they're gonna, I'm sure, have a tag team championship opportunity against Dewdrop and Nikki or Rhea Ripley and Nikki a.s.h soon enough. There's a package of Omos beating up all the tag teams. Great idea. And in the closed caption, because I always leave that on because I forget to take it off and then I get cozy, so I leave it. Uh, Corey Graves said the word commentary, but it looked like Cam, C-A-M as in Mary, and Terry, like a person named Terry. So it looked like Cam and Terry. It made me giggle. Boy, that was old. Then Riddle does a thing with the Dirty Dogs backstage. It's long and unfunny. What happened? RK Bro went to the best and most entertaining thing on the show to the worst because they never changed any of it. The Dirty Dogs, fight the Street Profits. And RK Bro comes out and they have new music. So I think they're going to win the match, even though they're not in the match, because the WWE rules if you have new music, you are winning that match. Anyway, they're in commentary. Fans are chanting for Randy. They're chanting for Riddle. And Randy's so smart. At one point, Riddle says, "Hey, Randy, you hear that? They're chanting for you. You hear it, Randy?" And Randy still said nothing, even though he's on commentary with a headset. Why? Because he let the people at home hear the live people chanting for him and didn't have to lift a finger, didn't open his mouth. That's a fucking pro right there. It's good shit. Um, Omos comes again and beats up everybody. He beats up the tag teams. Who won this? I think the dogs won it at some point. This was really bizarre. Riddle gets beat up by Omos. It's not bizarre. It happens every week. Orton is about to fight Omos. He takes off his jacket. He approaches him. Then they fade to black, and we go to T-Bar and Priest in a package. This might have been a Hulu thing, but you really heard the commentary. You heard the announcers say, "Oh, Randy Orton's taking off his jacket, whatever. It's Orton and Omos." Fade to black. And nothing. Like, we just didn't even finish that. We didn't even see officials break it up or nothing. Okay. What happens now? Okay, so T-Bar and Priest are angry. Priest has new music, so he's going to win. It's a no DQ U.S. Championship match. Uh, Priest took a Samoan drop off the second rope, or he gave one. I forget. Somebody did that to somebody. Anyway, a bunch of kendo sticks, and there was a table, and T-Bar, Dominic Dijakovic, whatever his name is, explodes through this table. He falls off the ring apron, it's the hardest part of the ring. I think he got choke slammed off it, and he went through this thing like it was. It didn't look like the classic pre-cut, straight down the middle, daddy. It was he imploded this friggin' table, which was great. Priest wins, and Apollo comes out. Apollo Crews, another SmackDown guy, comes out with Commander Disease, and he talked for too long, and I lost interest. Becky Lynch is talking to a blonde lady, and Liv Morgan comes out to stare at Becky Lynch, and I almost kept a straight face at the idea of Liv Morgan wrestling Becky Lynch at all, let alone a championship match. Becky walked away from her. Makes sense. Um, and Becky's smart there. When that's smart there, it ups Becky's star power. We've already seen plenty of Becky, and it lets us leave there looking at Liv and going, okay, let's put Liv in our minds instead of Becky telling her off and then going to commercial. Kevin Owens is taping his hand, and Seth Rollins is trying to make a deal with him, and he fails. Big E and Kevin Owens have a babyface match. Kevin Owens is a new babyface on his program after several months. So we're going to put him against another babyface. They only wrestle for 3 or 4 minutes before Seth Rollins comes in. I don't know what his gimmick is. I don't get the suits. I don't get the incessant fake laughing. I said a week or two ago we're going to be hearing a lot of that. And I was right. That's all we can hear is his bad fake laughter. Fake laughter is the worst. Vicky Guerrero had a bad one, which is a shame because she was pretty good otherwise. Uh, what happens in this match? Who cares? We went to the finish. Seth hits Big E after Kevin Owens and Big E do a collide head spot, which is cool. You don't see too many of those, and it made sense. They kind of double down them, but not dead cell double down the guys. Like keep them both down, referee counting to 8, 9, that kind of thing. Just have them both down their cell. And Big E's hanging over the second rope, over the ring apron. It's the hardest part of the ring. Seth nails him. Owens sees it, but he's clearly not happy about it because he did not want Seth's interference. Owens is not a bad guy. But either way, he gets mad, but he goes for the cover. He gets hooked up in a crucifix pin, roll up 1, 2, 3. Big E wins. And then Seth kind of taunts them from the ramp with his contract thingy, whatever. He talks again, of course. So much talking. Talking. And then to end the main event of the program after this match featuring the champion, two guys talked. Kevin Owens did a long apology, and Big E didn't believe him. And then Big E gave another babyface his finishing move for trying to apologize to him for cheating he didn't do, and we're both the top baby faces of the show. Am I the only one here who gives a shit about the rules? Market zero. It's a league game, Smokey. Okay. I watched zero NXT so far, and it's been on Hulu for a day, and I don't think I'm going to watch it. That's how disheartened I was by this Raw and by Halloween Havoc of NXT last week. And I am a bit distracted. Maybe I'll get around to it. The thing is, I don't have a lot of recovery time, really. I have surgery on a Friday. Monday, I go back to work. So it's not like, oh, I get to lay around for a week and just consume shit, which I really wanted to do. And I'll be honest, if I'd been working there like 2 years at least, yeah, I'd be doing that. Hell, if I'd been working there like a year, I'd be like, all right, I have my time off. I'm taking it, give it to me. The job is new. And if I'm able to go back to work, I got to go back to work. So I got to go back to fucking work. And if I really have to, I can lay down on a bed and like use their laptop and lay down on a damn thing with it. I'm not looking forward to this. And I'm upset with myself when watching these wrestling programs now. From age from age 9 to 41. That's May of 89 to today. No break. Lived through the new generation, lived through all the ruthless aggression and the attitude, quite frankly. I was in college, and it's like everybody likes your thing now. You're the only true fan. And yeah, it's a whole other story. Because like the main events are awesome, but the rest of it was actually dog shit. I knew at the time it was dog shit, but everybody loved it, so whatever. And then to put your body through the Samoan wrestling school at 180 pounds and get destroyed, and then do it again in San Diego, a little older and more beat up, and then now you're 41, you move like you're 70. You're like, oh, this sucks. And you just feel, I can't get it out of my brain that I feel like I owe it to WWE or even NXT, I guess, which is a branch of them. Like, what do you mean you're not watching? Like, I'm turning my back on something. Like, I don't owe them. But in my head, it's so bashed into my brain. 9 through 41, that's like four different stages of life. Like, that's like childhood, adolescence, teens, and then it was development 20s, and then you're maturing third, fourth. That's too many. That's like seven different Bobs, dude. It's like, ah, oh, Jesus Christ. Here we are. I don't know how this ends. I don't know how it all ends. They got to put my stomach back together. Losing my weight, I think. I'm eating better anyway. I think I'm losing some. You never really lose it fast enough. That unexpected extra bag of Halloween candy didn't help. It was a big bag too. It's gone now, thankfully. Sometimes when you have a big thing of junk food that you shouldn't be there, just eat it now. Just gorge it. Don't bother spacing it out. That's what I think. It's like, oh, there's too much ice cream in the house. Fuck it. Just eat it and then don't buy anymore. Just suffer the consequences of eating it, but then don't buy more and don't eat more and move on. Drink your water. That's the way I see it. You get it out. Get it in you. Get it out of you. Be done with it. Don't just dwell it out. Well, if we space it out a little bit a day, well, then you have a little bit of garbage every day. Just sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes you got to rip off the band-aid or something. No. Maybe I ate that too. Ah, gentlemen, I thank you very much. Should I give an overall synopsis of this show? No. The format's drastically got to change because I don't, even when my Motu Origins Sun Bob is done, I'm not going to start watching NXT again, and I still don't know what to do for a second artist part. I'm wondering if we just need one show a week. The thing is, my numbers on this are down. Um, I don't worry about that with the toy stuff, but with this, I'm kind of like, well, okay, why are we really doing this? So either I get TV, figure out a way to watch AEW and talk about that, because nobody wants to watch me talking about Raw on YouTube. Less people do on Podomatic as well because less people are watching Raw. No one's interested. A chunk of people are still watching, but those people don't really care about wrestling on the internet all that much anyway. AEW people do, so it's kind of how do we do this? I don't know the answer. I have a lot of thinking to do, guys, but I won't be doing any. I won't be doing any good thinking, any quality thinking, if I keep bumping my head on the hardest part of the ring, the hardest part of the ring. Ba da ba da